Sun sets over the Saint-Laurent River. It's May 28th, 1914, and a modest ocean liner has just started her week-long journey to Europe. Excitement is plentiful, with promises of smooth sailing and fine dining. For those aboard, this would be the final sunset. Nobody knows it yet, but dread is coming. Canada, a nation of endless wilderness and wealth, spanning from the Atlantic to the Pacific. It was the hope of the first Prime Minister of Canada, Sir John A. Macdonald, to unite the nation. In 1871, British Columbia became the first province in the West. BC, as it is now commonly called, had joined with a condition. To better serve domestic trade, there was to be an ambitious transcontinental railway line. From Montreal to Vancouver, the Canadian Pacific Railway was born. This ribbon of steel stretched across Canada, through the rolling valleys of Quebec, the many lakes of Ontario and Manitoba, through the fertile flats of the prairies, and the majesty of the Rocky Mountains towering over British Columbia. Canada was the stopover port of the British Empire. People and their goods, hoping to travel from the Orient to the British Isles, would have to cross through Canada. Great potential was realized in 1887, and the Canadian Pacific Steamship Company emerged to serve the Pacific and Atlantic routes. It had now been possible for a person to board a Canadian Pacific ship in Hong Kong, travel across the country aboard Canadian Pacic's Trans-Canada Limited, and board a Canadian Pacific ship in Quebec City, and arrive as refreshed as ever in Britain in only a matter of weeks, all on board Canadian Pacific without ever leaving the confines of the British Empire. January 1906, Empress of Ireland, the Canadian Pacific Steamship Company's newest addition to its ever-growing fleet. A ship of modesty, she was built as unremarkable as ever. Another ordinary ship for an extraordinary line. As she gracefully slid down the slipway, bystanders cheered and watched. Canada had gained another ship, and surely she would prove to be one of the best. For the next few months, the Empress of Ireland would be fitted out in dry dock. Her interiors would become places of rest where the weary could relax. Ornate decor and the finest china would only be allowed on the Empress. Indeed, only the finest would be allowed on board. Indeed, she was a ship made for Canadian Pacific that represents the whole nation. Her maiden voyage had been a success. With that, the Empress of Ireland joined the Canadian Pacific Fleet. 12 a.m. local time, May 29th, 1914. The Empress of Valen has begun her 96th crossing of the Atlantic Ocean. The ship is a mass of light amongst the quiet river. It is cold, very cold. The frigid waters and the freezing air make it a cold night. Passengers are huddled up in their rooms, fast asleep. Those daring to go the distance are awake, smoking and socializing amongst themselves. In the distance, the fog of the St. Lawrence River begins to appear. A normal occurrence, but an unsettling one. The Empress of Ireland pushes onward.
Sir, are you a crew member on this ship?
Yes, ma'am.
This is my first time sailing. Do you know if sailing is safer now?
I would think it is.
Even after the Titanic?
Well, after Titanic, there were major safety precautions which were made.
Alright, if you say so.
Have a nice night, ma'am.
"1:30 a.m. local time, May 29th, 1914. The Empress is face to face with lights, navigation lights. The Empress sounds her whistle, and in reply rings another whistle. It is the Storstad, a Norwegian collier, on her way to Quebec City. She sits low in the water. Her holds are full of coal. Coal used to harness power and keeps the lights of Quebec running. The two ships begin an attempt to steer to the port side.